Peace is on US President Donald Trump's agenda for 2026. The US president is making progress on a permanent ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine following a meeting at Mar-a-Lago with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. Let's get more on this from University of Otago politics professor Robert Patman, who joins us live out of New Zealand. Thank you for this. Thank you for your time. Now, US President Donald Trump says a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia is edging closer, with a couple of what he says are thorny issues that remain. Now, one of these sticking points is, of course, that Russia wants the Donbass region. Now, what would be the global ramifications if Ukraine did give up that territory to Russia after this 4-year war?
Well, good afternoon, Jack. I think there's little prospect of that happening unless certain conditions are met. And what the compromise that President Zelensky is offering is that Ukraine will be prepared to pull its troops back from the part of Donetsk that it occupies, where 300,000 Ukrainians live, in return, excuse me, for Russia also pulling back from parts of Donetsk they currently occupy, and to establish a demilitarized zone. And that would be part of a 60-day period of where there'll be a ceasefire and there'll be a referendum on this issue, whether Ukrainians will accept this or not. Now, those conditions are unacceptable to Mr. Putin. And he said in the last 24 hours that if the Ukrainians don't peacefully accept his maximalist demand, that's Putin's demand for control of the whole of the Donbass, then he will take it by military means. But progress on the ground is very slow by Russia. So I think, President Trump, when he said 95% deal has nearly been done, the 5%, given that it's based on a territorial sticking point, looks like it could be a bit of a not more than a thorny sticking point, but actually a game breaker. So we'll wait and see how this develops.
I want to zoom out and get a bit of a global perspective here, the bigger picture. Do you think Russia is gaining confidence from the recent actions of the US to use military force in other countries? Of course, we've seen bombing in Nigeria and also reports of a recent drone strike in Venezuela.
Well, yes, but that's been the story since Mr. Trump returned to the White House. He's always tried to settle that this is a Russian invasion of a neighbouring country, a sovereign state, Ukraine. He's tried to bring a peace settlement. And remember, he promised to do it within 24 hours, Jack, before he came to the White House. Well, that stretched out, obviously, that timeline. But he's always tried to settle it on Putin's terms. Mr. Trump is running a bit of a political risk here domestically, because most Americans see Putin as the bad guy, not Zelensky, and they're confused by the fact that Mr. Trump keeps siding with the aggressor against the victim of aggression. Globally, of course, for countries like Australia and New Zealand, nothing less than Putin failing in his attempt to annex part of Ukraine will suffice, because after all, countries like Australia, middle power, and countries like New Zealand, a relatively small power, they believe in what's called an international rules-based system. That's international relations in which is based on rules and principles, whereas Mr. Putin, and it seems like Mr. Trump, are happy for international relations to be based on the principle that might is right.